to the earth to educate the fool.
My thoughts are like roots, I got questions. So who can go low enough to see my thought procession? Possession of no knowledge by my own conception is intercession. The only way my brain retains a lesson upon inspection of my collection. If there's detection of any good, it's only through God manifested. Sudden like aggression's my profession. Through freestyle sessions plus premeditated prose that keeps you guessing. Progression of chords where information is stored, all based on revelation that Jesus is Lord for your adoration. Even after my deterioration, every truth and fact will point to that exact exclamation. Explanation to the hip-hop nation. My congregation, creation for communication, that's my occupation. Dirt penetration, underground narration, thought interjection, intersection of the culture and the resurrection. Hip-hop personified the pride inside your mental, giving guidance like parental scores of vocal instrumentals, influential like mentors with similes and metaphors. Underground like Earth's core, our ceiling be your floor, exploring forward. Understand the school of thought you lead or follow. I know you and you know me, but what's your thoughts on your tomorrow? Time is borrowed to the point he makes moves like telekinesis. That's my thesis on knowledge or the lack thereof.
I know no thing, I know no thing. Speaking on behalf of he was all knowing. I'm only quoting for no thing, no thing. I know really know nothing, nothing, no thing. I know no thing. Speaking on behalf of he was all knowing. I'm only quoting for no thing, no thing. I know really know nothing, nothing.
In the light of wisdom, I see the shadow of my condition. The prism shines the spectra of egoism. Pompous rhythm splits like long division. The pinnacle intervention displaced by man's intention of sexual and intellectual ascension to the realms of academia and dimension of atheism. Existentialism's prison, no exit, Dante's inferno. Waiting for Godot, late like last year's promo. Yeah, I'm well versed in literary pursuits for regurgitation. Try text, bounds and complex, only verbatim, which is limitless. Thus I must make the premises, trespassing, everlasting thoughts of his genius. I mean this when I say that I have no comment. If syntax is not consented, it's syntactically divisible the way it ought to be. To the proverbial curb with my camaraderie, unnecessary commodities been doing without me for centuries. Catcher in the rye, caught my eye with this technical portrait of an artist as a hip-hop intellectual. Skeptical, pseudo-scholastic, melodramatic. Many use false wisdom as a mental prophylactic. I lean not on my own thoughts. The fool builds his kingdom on the pretense of a sandlot. Prehistoric like bedrock, metamorphic endeavors. Fossil fools crushed down by heat and pressure. Non-clever, disregarded chlorofluorocarbons. Toxic elements expelled by plastic cartons. We think that we're outsmarting bad ideas like Tanya Harding. Missing link evolved by graceful Darwin keeps retarding. So on the stream of his consciousness and the tributary of his complexity, God's common knowledge enlightens all humanity.
No thing, I know no thing. Speaking on behalf of he was all knowing. I'm only quoting for no thing, no thing. I know really know nothing, nothing, no thing. I know no thing. Speaking on behalf of he was all knowing. I'm only quoting for no thing, no thing. I know really know nothing, nothing.
Multiple degrees and theories to describe birds, bees, flowers, trees, Arctic freeze, and series. But your brilliance is brainless if you ain't listening to no one other than man in your supposed attempt to understand. The lack of knowledge that my people perish for is about much more than facts and figures learned behind some public school door. I implore you to seek spiritual impartation, be like me and understand the plan of Mount Salvation. You know it takes a lot of wit to fill a 7 3/8 fit. I split you down the middle so you can play second and third fiddle too. Serenade your God, I come like a hand grenade in the schoolyard, leaving unsuspecting mind scarred and blow up the spot like George Before. It's hard to ignore your dissident orations and not relay the real reason for intricate equations. You see, God the Father set the earth in circular motion, put salt in the ocean and seas, gave the beach a little breeze, please. You think your mathematics can make things like the wind blow? When it comes to gravity, in reality all we know is its speed. So take heed, equations only describe creation. The nonsense you dispense has consumed your occupation, committing flagrant vocal flatulence, leaving common sense in the past tense. All it takes is a blood rinse to clear the eternal fence. Go figure this. Iniquity for infinity equals hell for eternity. So I'd appreciate you not spewing your nonsense when I'm learning.
No thing, I know no thing. Speaking on behalf of he was all knowing. I'm only quoting for no thing, no thing. I know really know nothing, nothing, no thing. I know no thing. Speaking on behalf of he was all knowing. I'm only quoting for no thing, no thing. I know really know nothing, nothing, no thing. I know no thing. Speaking on behalf of he was all knowing. Only quoting for no thing, no thing. I know really know nothing, nothing. I know nothing, I know nothing. I know nothing.
Sent to the earth to educate the fool. Sent to the earth to educate the fool.
pertaining to inclined architectural design where pressure crushes doubt and disbelief resides among all minds grinds. Aftershocks my beats like tremors. Greetings from hip-hop and welcome to my epicenter. Enter, you're now subject to tectonics that is the structure of my faith and the miracles of you using it.
I'm a dweller, dwelling in mountainous regions. Steadfast legions surround around me for all seasons. Reasoning rhyme patterns through caverns underground. Shockwave trees down, moving earth around. From the string I found, lost when I crossed these mountains with my bare hands. There stands fans, clans, and blocks of lots of tall rocks, lost like Spock. In the holy hip-hop nation I'm found, expound on inclinations like the poster. On the bottom like a coaster. If you do not hear me, listen closer. I'm so underground, you think my name was Dax Ray? No, sir, no, sir, no matter how my muscles flex and constrict. I make the prayer produce the power that can register the victor. Faith is the evidence of the invisible. We ride mountains to reach individuals, observing biblical but deserving ridicule, because the difference between what we say and display is pitiful.
Faith is the evidence of the invisible. We ride mountains to reach individuals.
Elevations of land can't move by human hands. Just seed size make can change position in space.
I speak right over their heads, the masses versus the quintessential b-boy, the gospel-centric purist. Habits flourish, wronging rites of passage. Practice make me perfect, my Achilles to your advantage, do damage. Disbelief breeds mistrust, so I'm begging with Pontius Pilate to deliver to me Barabbas. That is intra-buster, crumbling infrastructure. Zacchaeus in my nature, for my faith is short and stacked like a stack. I capture classic moments, theological misconceptions, breaking them down to small components. Making footstools at my opponent's neck, acrobat their logic like somersaults of intellect. Faith is the evidence of the invisible. I ride mountains to reach individuals, residual, as if my faith were a seed. I stand before Mount Everest and cast that buster to the Satan.
Is the evidence of the invisible. We ride mountains to reach individuals, observing biblical but deserving ridicule, because the difference between what we say and display is pitiful.
But faith is the evidence of the invisible. We ride mountains to reach individuals.
Land elevations can't move by human hands. Just seed size faith can change position in space. Faith is the evidence of the invisible. We ride mountains to reach individuals, observing biblical but deserving ridicule, because the difference between what we say and display is pitiful.
I found the impacting of another brother's infracting. Click the hasty judgment of overreacting. Nah.
Land elevations can't move by my hands. Just seed size faith can change position in space. Jamming geographical frequencies through frequent gyrations. Though my habits hold delinquencies, he still has more patience and positions. His position anti-polar, Mr. Solar. My solar gets me open like a crowbar. So idling surroundings and worldly things, unfaithful things running too far. Tied from the king, bring up hindrance to emphasize deliverance. Not hillbilly pictures, but Achilles heel with scripture type tools. Molecules of loyalty fuels planes to full peaks. My saliva ocean calms when he speaks. Streaks of lightning strikes my mind, which lights my rhyme, and then I write it unique as I surmise his activities day beside me. Rise at elevation since the day that I saw, the day 40 brought this subterranean thought. There's a great chasm fixed from your heart to my lyrics. There's a great chasm fixed from your heart to my lyrics. There's a great chasm fixed from which your ears and your spirits. A great chasm stand from where you sit to where I stand. It's the tectonics of my sonics. Bridge a gap, you'll understand.
My friend don't fall behind, and my thoughts stay on my heels. On the verbal dromedary through the eye of a needle. Document like paralegal, with the steeple coincides to be the travel dog of that affiliation called the pride.
I fly to the wop till I could not stop. Picked up my pivot footed and did not drop till hip-hop. And then I came to this land and they gave them right back to me. And together we used the 1, 2, just speak on the 3. We trinitarian mathematicians, we calculate verse. We rehearse how to converse, and then it's words and it's verse. Hip-hop in me, it's EDB, and that's why my destiny is underneath my every pore. It's line below my every quality. My policy has nothing to do dealing with things I face. Expedition of my existence, transitory up in this place. The case that point the finger at me. If you think I come off track, I'll double the sound and turn it around and start to try to bring it back. To back myself an excursion, persons need to be focused too. My broken glasses, no prescription, making it hard to see right through it. If you and you should ever wonder, is he a fisher of men? You can check the souls of my ID, just to see why I've been.
This transitory tandem moves in waves of crested prose. All peaks and troughs, they oscillate upstream against the flow. And on the road begins our anthem. We travel from place to place in order to quench our high demand. Destination not chosen at random. How would heaven like Michael Landon? Lyrical Lewis and Clark traverse more yards than Camden Park.
Up and down south, please out of by me. Majority of distance covered when sprinting on my knees. Velocities remain in flux at the end of the marathon. Vocal acclamation from every bass in all marathon. On my tongue tipping scales in favor of the sun, the one, the only. He showed me how to master ceremony. Scenery is flying past so fast, the source should look the same. You think I was riding through the desert on a horse with no name. Remain less than I can be, but I'm still giving it my best. Deliver more destinations than UPS.
My alacritous rhyme scheme percolates throughout my being, escaping through the soles of my shoes without you seeing is believing. Then let your pupils dilate and focus on the trail that my experience demarcate. Deciphers delineate shortest distance between two rhymes on the breaths that I take.
Change my zip in my area. No wonder there's a crisis to identify me, myself, and I am a schizophrenic scatterbrain. The one that I put my map, Latin large, to Lou, can't get four in the singular. But see my telepathic, pathologically patterns don't paternally, infernal eternity. Well, it just can't get to me. See, Shay Tony tries to place a frown upon my happy trail, but it's just get deep behind me and continue on my travel.
Left from love into love, then back again. The contour that I tour navigates through curves and bends. Or am myself along roadside, which I align with my meandering suggestions. I've inherited I strut hip-hop's path on my pomp and circumstance, waiting for a chance to make good on all my plans. So my sights set on the cipher, I coordinate my past, but at last, God make straight my path.
From all the travels that I've traveled, all the places I've been, it's hard to try to think of where my travels begin. So I keep my eyes open, keep my feet on the go, because I know that all my travels make me grow. To all the characters I've spoken, all the things that I've seen, I talk to you forever if you know what I mean. Another day I hold forward till the present is past, because the day we travel now could be our last. From all the travels that I've traveled, all the places I've been, it's hard to try to think of where my travels begin. I keep my eyes open, keep my feet on the go, because I know that all my travels make me grow. To all the travelers I've spoken, all the things that I've seen, I talk to you forever if you know what I mean. Another day I hope forward till the present is past, because the day we travel now could be our last. By letting the wonder of my lumber undermine you're slumbering, you're wondering what I'm thinking, what I blunder for. Under more pressure than you need to be, there seems to be discrepancy in what you see to be an actual responsibility for me. The error apparently showing transparencies. Your arguments, tendencies are mere fantasies. I land feet first, unhurt, ready to warn. So recline as the feline holds you to forward form.
You made it, I'm glad you finally made it to the apex of my neck where intellect is constipated. Therefore, since I have your full attention, my intention is to defoliate the images in your eye. Wish to make an example of myself to litigate the tour before this court will self-review will demonstrate that beyond a reasonable doubt and with intentional disregard I ignored my own dysfunction while exposing my neighbors. Hardy, har. I laugh when I think how far I would go to ignore my ocular splinter.
Not to mention visions of another's plight with the extension of a 2x4 presenting a new sight. Not to mention visions of another's plight with the extension of a 2x4 presenting a new sight. Not to mention visions of another's plight with the extension of a 2x4 presenting a new sight. Not to mention visions of another's plight with the extension of a 2x4 presenting a new sight.
A kaleidoscope of timber distorts insofar as judgment dysfunctions and senses retard. So disregard your condescending thoughts or not go public. Harlots fall by stones, you stand alone to cast your judgment. Without sin, I doubt it. Skeletons remain enshrouded, compacted into circles in an attempt to work around.
I found the impacting of another brother's infracting leads to hasty judgmental overreacting. But attacking, lacking facts leads to
overwhelming friction like polyester slack. So retract, step back, throw those stones at someone else. It's time to do a semicircle and take a look at yourself in degrees. Take 360 times 2 and divide it by 4 and judge him before you use your vocals. Realize the eyes you look through all your days also gaze to the very same wooden bifocals. How do you notice these dimensions plaguing someone else? Were your intentions for the good of all or for yourself? You might do better.
Not to mention visions of another's plight with the extension of a 2x4 standing in your sight. Not to mention visions of another's plight with the extension of a 2x4 standing in your sight. Not to mention visions of another's plight with the extension of a 2x4 standing in your sight. Not to mention visions of another's plight with the extension of a 2x4 standing in your sight.
4 blank states is given, driven to obscure security. We cling to others, sinking claim our own personal purity. Surely sounds sadistic, this is support reported after calls, tossing, turning, losing Z's. Please be parting personal trees.
You never see the forest, please micro-retanic. Narrowly construed, which should be viewed in panoramic. In keeping with the pattern, your solution needs a problem. Backwards in your vision, perceiving the top to be the bottom.
To the top on laterals, my lungs act as rapids, holding together upper levels until the hereafter. You see, these rapture songs doesn't exactly bring laughter, instead initiating home-crossing thoughts of the master.
So there, not to interrupt, but only to interject my 2 cents, hence make their conscience genuflect with respect for and regards to upright your inverted sight, the dimensions must be removed.
Theory, journey with me into factual planes, change lanes to grains of going against pains, but tis and sonorants I win. My fence falls, intense walls are always cradle, can't mince, cause innocent stalls. My guilt is on the table, able help the wealth, the wisdom floods myself from somewhere else. Images dealt, thought I was larger, sights can close on so much more. The father charged me as a martyr, if it makes my vision sharper. As you do thy wed, my 2x with his perpendicular partner.
Not to mention visions of another's plight with the extension of a 2x4 standing in your sight. Not to mention visions of another's plight with the extension of a 2x4 standing in your sight. Not to mention visions of another's plight with the extension of a 2x4 standing in your sight. Not to mention visions of another's plight with the extension of a 2x4 standing in your sight.
How do you notice these dimensions plaguing someone else? Were your intentions for the good of all or for yourself? You might do better. Not to mention visions of another's plight when the extension of a 2x4 is standing in your sight.
How do you notice these dimensions plaguing someone else? Were your intentions for the good of all or for yourself? You might do better. Not to mention visions of another's plight. The extension of a 2x4 is standing in your sight.
How do you notice these dimensions plaguing someone else?
Were your intentions for the good of all or for yourself?
You might do better. Not to mention visions of another's plight
When the extension of a 2x4 is standing in your sight. There's a great chasm fixed from your heart to my lyrics. A great chasm fixed from your ears to your spirit. A great chasm span from where you sit to where I stand. Is the tectonics of my phonics. Bridge the gap you'll understand. Pertaining to architectural design, where pressure crushes doubt and disbelief resides along fault lines, grinds. Aftershocks my beats like tremors. Greetings from hip-hop and welcome to my epicenter. Enter. You're now subject to tectonics, the structure of my faith and the miracles of using
I'm a dweller, dwelling in mountainous regions, steadfast legions surround around me for all seasons. Reasoning rhyme patterns through caverns underground. Shockwaves resound, moving earth around from the strength I found. Lost when accosting mountains with my bare hands. There stands bands, clans, and blocks of lots of tall rocks, lost like spot. In the holy hip-hop nation I'm found, expound on inclinations like I'm supposed to. On the bottom like a coaster. If you do not hear me, listen closer. I'm so underground, you think my name was Dax Reynosa. No matter how my muscles flex and constrict, faith and prayer produce the power that can register the Richter.
Tectonics, that's the way it got it. 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 Tectonics, that's the way it got it.
I speak right over their heads, the masses, versus the quintessential b-boy the gospel-centric purist. Habits flourish, wronging rites of passage. Practice making me perfect, my Achilles to your advantage, doing damage. Disbelief breeds mistrust, so I'm begging with Pontius Pilate to deliver to me Barabbas status intra-buster. Crumbling infrastructure, Zacchaeus in my nature, for my faith is short in stature. Like Kodak, I capture classic moments, theological misconceptions, breaking them down to small components. Making footstools out of my opponent's neck, acrobat their logic like some assault of intellect. Faith is the evidence of the invisible. I ride mountains to reach individuals residual. As if my faith were a seed, I stand before Mount Everest and cast that buster to the sea.
Tectonics, that's the way it got. Tectonics, that's the way it got. Tectonics, that's the way it got. Tectonics, that's the way it got.
There's a great chasm fixed from your heart to my lyrics. A great chasm fixed betwixt your ears and your spirit. A great chasm span from where you sit to where I stand. It's the tectonics of my phonics, bridge the gap you'll understand. Land, elevation, can't move by my hands. Just seed size, faith can change position in space. Jam, geographical frequencies through frequent gyrations. Though my habits hold delinquencies, he still has more patience and positions. His position antipolar, Mr. Solar. My soul that gets me open like a crowbar. So far I cling surroundings and worldly things. Unfaithful flings running too far sides from the king. Bring up hindrance to emphasize deliverance. Not hillbilly pictures, but Achilles heel with scripture type tools. Molecules of loyalty, fuels planes to form peaks. My saliva ocean calms when he speaks. Streaks of lightning strikes my mind with lights my rhyme, and then I write it. Unique as I surmise it. His activities may be seismic, rising, elevation since the day that I saw. The day forth he brought this subterranean dawn. There's a great chasm thick
from your heart to my lyrics. A great chasm fixed
with your ears and your spirit. A great chasm span
from where you sit to where I stand is the tectonics of my phonics. Bridge the gap you'll understand.
There's a great chasm thick
from your heart to my lyrics. A great chasm fixed
with your ears and your spirit. A great chasm span
from where you sit to where I stand is the tectonics of my phonics. Bridge the gap you'll understand.
A great chasm fixed.
A great chasm fixed.
There's a great chasm span from where you sit to where I stand. It's the tectonics of my phonics. Bridge the gap you'll understand.
In the year of our Lord, 1982, my most fortunate demise caught me by surprise. It was a setup. I was surrounded to an attempt to pull my soul. There was a gunman in the tower, and a second on the ground. He got me hold underhanded, covert contrabanded. Plots my denouement, my persona's coup d'etat demanded the way the Father God he had planned. Assassination of my nature, to the highest bidder granted. I was followed, candid. Photos were implanted. Verification of my relation to the devil was established. Paramilitary tactics were expanded. They landed on the shores of my sin to do their damage. Ambush was their advantage from the peaks that point was vantage. Salvation was never so sweet, salvation was never so savage.
Deceased men walking upright, understanding the disease sin is what we must fight. Reprimanding us and others as we choose to rip mics until our flight. Vertical corpses chalked in. Dead men walking till we take flight. Vertical corpses chalked in as we rip mics. Understanding the disease sin is what we must fight. We be deceased men walking upright.
In the year of our Lord, circa 1984, I gave my mother permission to enter, but there was an assassin at the door. I fell back and hit the floor, fatal wounds. I was doomed to spend eternity in a tomb, but it didn't happen so soon. By noon, I was revived, thrived on respirators in critical condition, wishing I had prior vision to the Lord's definition of fishing for men. My sin count stabilized, and I became stronger, no longer in need of artificial respiration for my preservation. Patiently, I learned to live with my injury. Seems to be worth living for, but after 93, not anymore. I was torn, wishing I was never born, wishing I had already died. Premeditated, pre-pride, I committed suicide.
1993, Anno Domini. This most fortunate demise was busy, surprising. I rolled shallow, the ground's hollow. What an now know, didn't realize that he even watched the sparrow. My vision narrow, uncultivated heart was fallow. Death shadow like DJs get inside my soul hollow. Merely follow tonight his help was hard to swallow like an Apollo. Booing, and my pain remains to wallow. Faking halo, dodging sermons try to stay low. Break promises to God and his people like Pharaoh. Testimony insignificant like Cato or Fato. Hard to speak of these and stay dry-eyed. I claim crucified with an eye spike the Satan's side. I tried to walk the enemy live and high. I tied the hands of Christians and I was saved. I lied. Denied the charges brought against me. He strapped me to salvation's chair. Realized it was prepared to clear this nomenclature. No longer my nature. Realizing I was through, I caught his breath. Thus the story of my death. Thus the story of my death.
We be deceased men walking upright. Understanding the disease, sin is what we must fight. Reprimanding us and others as we choose to rip mics until our flight. Vertical corpses chalked in. Dead man walking till we take flight. Vertical corpses chalked in as we rip mics. Understanding the disease, sin is what we must fight. We be deceased men walking upright. Resurrected high-tech connected cables. From my brain to my hands I rock tables and burn them up like gastrointestinal. Fast flow professional rhymes combine to destroy the mind. Welcome to my operation, the antithesis of sleep deprivation. One last request you ask, what's my motivation? Strictly stimulation through planned assassination. Assignment completed, enemy defeated. I engrave your epitaph and laugh as I read. Submit my resume in response to your request for rejects. You recognize your relevance through rap to reap the reckoning. Won't remain a plain cadaver. For me, no optional matter. Download the data. Transmitting files should be descriptive. Match out profile specific. A lyrical militaristic misfit. Noctambulistic. In need of recon and forensics. I still sent it. Of course, the contents was encrypted. Instantaneous response. Red son, you've been enlisted.
In the elite fleet electric grip with verbal ammo. Select tactical attack crack commanders. How they train counter-revolutionaries operate the sacred code of salvation by grace. Through faith, trained to infiltrate and uproot illegitimate regimes of despotic sin. Good luck, gentlemen. Your end, it must begin. Your alias, Noctambulists 9473 000. We don't need another freaking hero.
We be deceased men walking upright. Understanding the disease, sin is what we must fight. Reprimanding us and others as we choose to rip mics until our plight. Vertical corpses chalked in. Dead men walking till we take flight. Vertical corpses chalked in as we rip mics. Understanding the disease, sin is what we must fight. We be deceased men walking upright.
I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, still dead this morning. Warning, dreamscape still forming. Narcoleptic insomniac should arise but never wake like the breathless asthmatic. With a smoking habit is to ventilate my fate. Write hip-hop lullabies and close your eyes. And when they begin, they induce REM, rapid eye movement, apocalyptically messianic proportions. Prosaic pieces in the mosaic, conscious contortion. Sleepwalker at the altar, outline body graffiti chalker. Syntax the godlike talk of the pride comes before your falter. Like Lazarus, I trust I'll die twice thus. I hope this correspondence finds you cordial.
I want to help him die to self like my name was Jack Kabuki. And he uses high-tech beat to teleport me in. Transport cohorts as my escort. He's quoting lethal rhymes, consorting, courting conversations as they catch you from behind. Assassins thwarting asinine while instigating flat lines. We keep initiating others as we smother vital signs. Hip-hop and us combine and climb to be the tools of the divine. Putting vocab in my mind. God's got a back like spine. Vital taps you on the shoulder, colder temperature declines. The fellowship through freestyle like inspired by Micah 9. Ending selfish lies before these end times. That's my design. New life they find. Post resigning from this me existence. Deceased men walking upright. Understanding the disease, sin is what we must fight. Reprimanding us and others as we choose to rip mics until our flight. Vertical corpses chalked in. Dead man walking till we take flight. Vertical corpses chalked in as we rip mics. Understanding the disease, sin is what we must fight. We be deceased men walking upright. We be deceased men walking upright. Understanding the disease, sin is what we must fight. Reprimanding us and others as we choose to rip mics until our flight. Vertical corpses chalked in. Dead man walking till we take flight. Vertical corpses chalked in as we rip mics. Understanding the disease, sin is what we must fight. We be deceased men walking upright.